I like stories.
But, yeah, I know Scope. You didn't say boo, by the way. Oh, right. Forget the story. Let's do that first. Okay.
We should introduce ourselves, actually.
Yeah, sorry. Do you want to start?
We crows?
Yeah, all right. Hi, Crows.
Hi, I'm Sir Without a Mic. Hi, my name's Crows. I have worked with these fine people here on their projects. I also worked on Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, Team 4-Star, worked with Rooster Teeth for a while. I've been all over the place, and I just randomly do stuff. I don't know how I get into things. It just happens.
We just rope you in.
Well, when you just show up randomly to the con last night and we didn't even know you were coming, that's why you got dragged up here. So hi, my name's Meredith. If you have any questions about writing and voice acting, I'm probably going to be the one to help you with that, along with all of our awesome voice actors here. I have done voice acting since I was 16, doing silly fan dubs in my closet in high school, and now I'm still doing silly dubs in my closet. But I work with more than just silly cartoons. I work with commercials and video games, and I've gotten some professional jobs doing that, as well as creating pitches, writing cartoons, developing, and directing. So that's kind of my background.
Hi guys, I'm Travis. I'm with the SFS group doing like 3D artwork and then some other little art and animation stuff. I also on the side, I have a part-time job, but I also do just freelance art and illustration. I've done some work for Rooster Teeth Productions and Achievement Hunter. That's pretty much the only big thing that I've done.
This guy back here, every panel I've been to, he boos when I say my name. So if you could all do me a favor and attack him later, that would be great.
Don't say your name. Just say, hi, I'm insert name here. Or something.
My name is, and
one more plan.
Meet me in the parking lot later.
Would you like to actually say your name now then, since the plan's been foiled?
My name's my real name's Nick, and the fandom I go by Wildcard. Twofer, there you go. Oh, I hate my life. Anyway, I've been an actor for about over maybe like a decade. I started off in stage theater and segued into voice acting. I do a lot of Shining Armor fan voicing in the fandom. I was in I Am Octavia. I was the voice of Hoofbeats for this convention back in 2013. I do commercial work out of Pittsburgh, PA. I've done a couple things here in Baltimore. Basically just another voice actor trying to make his way in the world.
Okay, my real name's Reagan. I go by Rev on the internet. I'm primarily a voice actor. I do a little bit of music here and there. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas. I do some commercials and video games and such. I worked at Disney World as a character performer for a little while, and so did he. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
My name's Spencer. I work on pretty much everything.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you do
with the group.
everything.
I'm also sort of a consultant for some of the business things that go on, but I just help out where I can.
Sorry, that was my fault.
Did the camera just toot?
Excuse you.
You will start a fight.
I will.
Well, that'd be a good panel. Staff versus panelists.
I have a feeling that won't end well
Basically
for
every
us.
panel.
That's
in a
true,
nutshell.
yeah, that's true. They would win, though. They're way tougher than
Cut all the
us.
microphones.
They're way tougher than us, so they win.
Staff versus.
All right, go ahead.
All right. My name is Samantha, or Sam, or Jada Jinx, or you.
She answers to you, really.
Yeah, I answer to you too. I am a concept artist for SFS. I have done absolutely zero work as of right now.
No, you have. You have. We're just not allowed to talk about what you've made yet.
Okay.
The stuff that you sent me. Yeah.
Okay.
You
I
have.
sent her some art. That's about it.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I'm pretty sure she says that I'm going to be worked to the bone after the pilot.
Yeah. Once the thing we're working on is done, she'll be worked to the bone.
Yeah, so please send me your tears and prayers after the pilot is done.
Also, your ramen.
So, relating back to what I was saying earlier, my spaghetti story. I did not get my first real acting gig until a little bit after college. Like Rev, I worked at Walt Disney World as a character actor. It was my first equity gig. I did it for a couple years, and for, I don't want to say no reason, but for certain reasons, I got canned. And when you get a taste of professional, acting for the first time, like for a couple years, and then suddenly lose it, it kind of kills your ego a bit. So I moved back home, and I wasn't sure what to do with myself because I basically had no money. I didn't know where I was going. Thought my career was over with because I was young and stupid. And I know it's weird to say, but this show came along. It was I think late or early 2012 was when I found it. Like everybody else who probably has seen it, I was intrigued by the voices, the story, the art, all that. And from there, I started doing some, I didn't know how to contribute really to the fandom as it was growing, so I just tried doing voice stuff since acting is like the best thing that I can contribute. Did some OC pony stuff that was really dumb, and then when Shining Armor came along, I found one I could sound alike, and from there I did Friendship is Witchcraft, and then it kind of snowballed a bit. Yes, woo indeed. I'm not saying it.
You got some fans in your
Well, now you have to say
No, you
it.
have to say.
Oh my God. All right. It's Wiley. You know how much I love corn dogs. And I act like I don't care, but honestly, I am so happy whenever anyone asks me to say that. But anyway, back to what I was saying. You can look at people like Gabe, like Black Griffin, who's made it into a real super career, and that's amazing. What we're going to talk about is basically the jumping point from fan work into starting your career. If you want to be a voiceover actor or a writer or an animator. But I'm curious, who here thinks first it would be easy to become a voice actor? Any hands?
No?
Wow,
Good.
I am impressed. Okay.
I saw somebody
Good.
almost raise
It's
their
like,
Yeah. And then they're like,
no, ask Pika-Pita, he'd raise his hand.
I think they're intimidated.
Sorry, I can't talk today. Who here thinks that it'd be easy to be an artist, animator? Again, you don't count, you're already one. And what about a writer? Half,
Okay.
all right.
He just
I'm impressed.
Wait.
I expected most of you to be like, it's so easy, what is he talking about?
and then I would have just given you all a very big stare. For a very
start
long
throwing water bottles at the crowd.
The first thing I wanted to say about if you were interested in making a transition from doing fan work into a real life career is to realize, first of all, that you are going to be tested in every way conceivable. An artistic career is one of many pitfalls and many moments of disappointment. You are going to get hurt in so many ways that there'll be a point where you will think that I'm done. This is it for me completely. But there's good news. Perseverance is actually an extremely important thing to think about when pursuing this kind of career. I'll use for instance. I do freelance work like a lot of the voice actors here do, and the animators too, artists. It is probably, I don't know if you think it's more difficult than just having an agent, or because you kind of get to be your own boss, but at the same time you don't have as many opportunities. I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me today. But freelance work is probably the best way to start getting into this business. And that means auditioning all the time for anything you can.
There is nothing too stupid for you to audition for.
Yeah.
Audition for everything.
Voices 1, 2, 3, casting call. Even go to places like if you really don't have nowhere to start at Newgrounds,
Voice Acting
Alliance. And then you could also try what some people have, and that's just making your own, maybe not your own IP, but your own kind of creation, kind of like what they did with Snowdrop, and so on and so forth. I need a moment to rest my voice. You go ahead.
Oh, I mean, you are right. When you're starting out, freelance is definitely what you're going to be doing, but that will build your perseverance, which I think is what you were leading into.
Yeah.
Perseverance and getting that thick skin is going to be one of the biggest assets that you will have as a hobbyist transforming yourself into a professional. Because just like he said, you are going to get hurt. You are going to get rejected. It doesn't matter if you're an animator, an artist, a voice actor, a writer. You are going to have somebody who absolutely despises your work. At the same time, you are going to have people that adore your work. So the goal is to find your focus and your potential and what you like to do and transform that into something and find the people that adore your work. And at the same time, the people that despise your work, just bat them off. Don't entirely ignore them, because sometimes there is constructive criticism that you can gain from people who say that they absolutely hate you. But for the people who have literally no reason to hate you, they just hate you because, and that does happen for some reason, they don't matter.
For them, I have a special exercise. Everybody take up your right hand. Now move it across to your left shoulder, flex your wrist, and
Thank you for sweeping that onto me.
Sadly, a lot of what being a freelance artist is nowadays on the internet, and on the internet, everybody has a voice, and they also don't have a face attached to that voice.
Which means they're a lot more willing to be a little more aggressively stupid with their comments.
Which means that you will have to build a thick skin even faster than in the days of yonder when you had to have an agent, or I don't know, it was back in the 90s.
Back when I was on ye old drawing pad.
Back in the day when I was watching Rugrats and eating
I just had
so
sticks
yesterday.
and drew in the sand. Nah.
Like the people who comes up to your work and says, "This sucks. Oh my God, how dare you? I want you to die." Don't listen to them. That's not constructive criticism. They're just a troll. Don't feed the trolls. But people who's just like, okay, this is pretty good, but I think this could use a little bit more work. That's constructive criticism. Something about constructive criticism is that you always want to give a pro and a con on what you're doing. I always believe there's something positive or a good compliment you can give to everybody's artwork or everybody's project. And then you go into what can make it better. So something I learned in school is that you never want to lead with, "I don't like it." You want to lead with, "This is what I like about it. This is what I don't like about it."
I like how when you went the extreme there, it's like, I hate it, I want you to die. It's like,
Except
that's not the norm,
No,
people. Let you know
But we
that.
have gotten that before.
There's
and
a lot of people that's gotten worse.
Yeah, and you get worse.
I got a death threat on my Tumblr once.
Oh yeah, I've gotten death threats too.
When I started doing Shining Armor stuff, they were like, "You're trying to take work away from Andrew Francis." Like, really? Yeah, I'm taking work away from the contracted guy who has years of experience. You're right. It's just people can be stupid.
Do they think
Like-
he's going to immediately get fired and say, "Oh, I
Yes,
want this
he's
guy"?
gonna
This
get
guy
fired.
sounds so much better, even though it
No.
sounds exactly like him.
I wanted to be flattered, but I'm like, I was more confused.
Well, and our studio has gotten threats like that before too, because we are either not making pony or we are making pony. You can't make everyone happy. Like if we made a pony thing, all of a sudden we would have all of these people being like, "Why are you making this?" But when we don't make pony, we get people saying like, "How dare you? You're supposed to make me my stuff." So we
you
get
think
that
we're
a lot.
exaggerating.
I've had that before.
But the point of that very long ramble is for no matter what you want to do, art, animation, writing, voice acting, that advice will work for all of you. Perseverance and a thick skin.
And like I was saying, there's no one path to doing these sorts of things. For some people, they do like the okay, go to school, learn what I can, and then jump right into the field. For some people, there's another option called street training, which is where you jump right in and start getting experience immediately. It just really depends on how you learn as a person and how you can grow as a person. With voiceover, I found actually I've learned more from just doing it than going like a teacher and being like, "Hey, teach me the finer points." But please do that if you're going to do it. Please get an instructor at least once. Because if not for the lessons, then for contacts, because contacts are king in this industry. Like, you want to meet as many people as you can.
No, seriously, a big part of getting into any kind of media industry, especially online, is networking. You're who you know, and a lot of it, honestly, as bad as it sounds, a lot of it is luck. Being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Connections is good
Like-
to have.
No, and it doesn't matter if you think a connection is small. Any sort of connection is great, especially because things are known to just kind of web out and spread out. And one person who you may think, I don't know if I should contact them, they may have 3 other contacts that are huge. And the thing is with this industry, everyone ends up working with each other at one point or another. It's this huge web of connectivity. So you want to look at whatever connections, and especially going back to the gain opinions and criticism, you also want to be nice when giving it to other people because you don't know who they're connected to or whatnot, and you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot that way, of course.
Yeah, I mean, look at Tara Strong. She was Bubbles in Powerpuff Girls. How do you think she got Twilight? She was friends with Lauren Faust because her husband, Lauren Faust's husband, was working on Powerpuff Girls as well as Lauren Faust. Connections.
And for some people, that's a little bit difficult because we're not all social butterflies. But especially if you're going to be an actor, you have to at least pretend like you like people. Like,
It's called acting.
You're an actor, yeah.
like you could hate someone's friggin' guts, like to your core, but just oh hey, how's it going? Oh yeah, I'd love to be in that thing you're doing, and then do it, and then just freaking hate them. I'll never do this again. That's how it is sometimes.
We're getting a little too real there.
Well, that's kind
That's
of
the whole point of the panel.
No.
I'm curious. Just
Actually,
oh, sorry. You want to say something?
Actually, I wanted, if I may.
Go ahead.
No, I want to actually get a little bit of involvement here, and I just want to see if I can get a raise of hands from people from each group. So if I want to see how many of you in here would like to get into artwork or animation or something like that. Okay.
Fantastic.
So that's.
What about writing? How many of you would like to be a writer? Okay. What about voice acting? Music. Okay.
All right.
All 4.
All of the above.
The big 4. And
Other.
how many of you want to get into something that I did not mention and I'm forgetting right now? Okay.
How many of you want to be rich?
How many
We're
of you
in
want
the
to be
wrong
rich in experience?
Well,
No one. Okay, good.
all of the advice that we've just given you is good for, like I said, every single craft. But of course, I'm sure you guys have specific questions as well, especially in regards to like this panel is called Pony to Pro, stepping out and creating your own stuff. Working with an existing IP is fantastic. That is what got us started. The first thing I ever voiced was Twilight Sparkle for Fighting is Magic. That was like a big thing for me. Before then I was just doing like fan dubs of 90s anime. So being able to do that project was what really set me off into my professional world. But it's not something that's sustainable. It's really sustainable to have your own ideas and work with your own creative things. And you will see on the internet, you'll see things like, this is my original idea, and nobody pays attention to it. And then you make some kind of Steven Universe, My Little Pony crossover fan fiction, and all of a sudden everybody loves it. But the thing that's original is what's going to get you going.
I will tack on here. Just because you're doing your own career and doing your own IP or whatever doesn't mean you can't do fan stuff.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Because some of us up here still do pony stuff. I do. Rev does.
Still draw stuff
Yeah.
every once in a while.
I do it occasionally,
It's
yeah.
just to you got to learn how to balance your time, especially.
If anything, actually, because I saw an article not too long ago from Jonan Vasquez, however you say his name, the creator of Invader Zim and all that. And he actually wrote about how he started off, and he was saying he started off with a lot of fan art too, and it's saying that it's actually a good thing to do fan art. Also, because it gets you a fan base, it gets you started, gets you off the ground, gets you a little more attention, starts spreading out there. But you got to realize that while it's a good starting place, that's not something you can sustain yourself off of. So starting there is good, but always start branching out into your own things. Do a little bit of everything, making your own stuff, and just keep spreading from there.
Exactly, especially bringing up Red versus Blue and Rooster Teeth, which we've both been a part of at different points. That they started as a very fan-driven, essentially fan fiction of Halo, and now that is this huge thing. Yes, I did just call it Red versus Blue fan fiction. Yeah, it is. But see, then they got incorporated. Bungie loved them so much that this doesn't happen all the time, because when you start playing with someone else's IP, you gotta toe the line somewhere there. So, but the fact is, it doesn't matter what you get into, especially if you're doing something drastically different, like Bernie and Co. were doing with Halo and Red versus Blue. You're putting that initiative into making something new, and then that works as a great jumping off point. And now Rooster Teeth has billions of subscribers.
Yeah, they've got like a dozen or more
Right.
different shows now and stuff.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Their own convention.
Convention.
Yeah.
They have
That's
like
the
a
same thing with,
warehouse for studio and stuff.
That's the same thing with, has anybody ever heard of Dragon Ball Z Abridged? Okay.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Please, get off the stage.
Says the one who worked on it.
So one of the voices, it got so popular that one of the the voice of Goku for
Takahata.
that. Yeah, Takahata. He, I think, voiced Goku or something in one of the movies or something like that.
Yeah, actually, several of them got into the recent Frieza movie, and the other thing is, both Taka and Lanny both got into the Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse game
Yeah.
as additional voices. So
Yeah, he's the natural voice there.
Yeah, what started out as a parody, like, turned into, like, a career.
So the thing is, some IPs are more receptive to fan works than others.
Yeah.
We already know Hasbro's reputation.
And
so
Hasbro is lenient.
Hasbro's
compared to
pretty
Z.
lenient.
They've calmed down a lot of
It's not even Hasbro. I feel like it's their lawyers.
Well,
that's
You'll see
basically.
different departments when you work
legal
with
department.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the main point of all of that
Is that legalities suck.
Yeah.
Well, the main point is legalities suck. But also, it's okay to do your fan stuff on the side.
Yep.
But if you want serious advice about how to step off, make your own original stuff, we can talk about that too.
And jumping from that point, I think now would be a good time to start Q&A.
Yes.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is there's a microphone right there. We're going to start a line in that row. If you have questions about art, animation, writing, voice acting, we might be able to help with music with Rev.
Rev has some.
And you have a lot of music experience. So yeah, we'll be good. All right. So yes.
Hey, my name's Ron.
How's it going?
Yeah, Georgia. I was asking. I'm not too close. Oh, okay.
Please
Oh,
hold.
too tall. Okay.
I know the pain.
How tall are you?
Anyway.
6'3".
Jeez.
Anyway, that's what I was saying. I'm starting off as a writer, doing my own thing, doing little stuff, putting my stuff on filmfiction.com and all that. And I was, everybody keeps telling me that my writing's kind of stagnant, like I'm explaining too much or I'm explaining too little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was wondering, like, any tips for that or any practices I should do?
So the only thing that's really going to help you with that is finding your own style of writing. How long have you been writing for?
I've been writing for about 2 years,
Okay.
2-3 years.
Yeah, that's a really good starting point. So just going into what my own writing experience just a little bit, because I had that same problem, exact same problem. I was writing fan fiction on Quizilla when I was 13. If anybody remembers what Quizilla is, yeah, they shut it down 2 years ago. It makes me so sad. But so my first writing was fan fiction. I wrote One Piece fan fiction. I wrote Yu-Gi-Oh fan fiction.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Any crossovers?
I know. No, just with my own OCs, which
Oh.
God.
Yeah.
I was a trashy little 13-year-old. Not like that.
This is a PG panel, please.
And I did write my own original stuff on there as well.
Right.
And I, as a teenager, young kid, I was just writing for the sake of writing. I was writing what I felt like writing. I was writing what I thought was really, really good. And then when I would look back at it as I grew older, I realized that as the years went by and I was still writing, my own style of writing was developing very slowly, but it was happening. So you don't even realize it at the time, but your own style is developing where you will eventually find the balance between too much exposition, which is explaining too much, and not enough exposition. Basically, just through practice, you're going to be able to realize through your head what is coming across well on the paper and what is not. And a lot of that, I will say, came from school for me. I went to school, I majored in creative writing, minor in telecommunications. It's a very difficult major, not because the schooling is particularly difficult. If you love to write, you're going to love that major, but it's marketing yourself afterwards, after you get out of college. So a lot of people don't feel inclined to do a major like creative writing simply because they think that it's not marketable for when they leave school. The point of my creative writing major wasn't so much to be marketable, but it was to shape my own style of writing, which you learn a lot of at school. So school helps. I'm not going to pretend like you can just jump off at the same time. I'm not going to pretend like school is your only necessity. You don't have to major in creative writing. It's just something that helps you. And if you don't major in creative writing, just keep practicing and read more. Reading helps shape writing. Read what you like. That will help shape what you want to write.
Just don't read Stephen King because he can go on and just explaining a blade of grass.
Well,
I like Stephen King.
He's a good writer. But
you know what
Here's the
though?
thing,
It's a good lesson in finding out how much exposition is too much exposition.
Yeah,
There's a whole thing in Lord of the Rings where he describes a tree for like 20 pages.
Yes.
And look at Victor Hugo's
Yeah.
work. Les Mis is like the size of the Bible.
Yeah. So it's just gonna take you time. I know it stinks because time is literally the thing that nobody wants to hear as an answer, but you'll find out. Right before Quizilla shut down, I went back and looked at all my old fan fiction, and after I cried for about 2 hours because of how bad it was, I was able to see how I've evolved.
Save it? Or you just said
No,
forget it?
I let it burn. I let it burn. I remember everything that happened, so I don't need to read it again. I'll pretend like it was better in my head.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you want to remember that applies for that applies for everything: writing, animation, art, music, anything. It's just you'll find your style over time. So just keep up with it. That's all you can do, unfortunately.
Hi.
Hello. So my name's Somber, and speaking of writing long, I'm currently making a little bit of money off of Patreon every month, about like $200-300 a month.
Great.
And so I'm wondering, what is the next step that I should take? Should I start publishing original work in installments, like over a website? Should I try and save it up so I can publish it over Amazon? Or should I try and build something up into a novel and market the novel?
Where are you posting your stuff right now?
Currently, my fan fiction is on FimFic.
Okay, and you exclusively write fan fiction, right? But
Right now, yeah.
you're looking to make original work?
Yes.
Or okay. So you have a solidified fan base because you've got your Patreon. You will need to communicate with your patrons first off and find out kind of what they would be looking for from you. You can make your own website. You can put your stuff on there. You can continue putting your stuff on FimFiction as well, but you could put stuff on your own website, say a week earlier than everything else to try and drive traffic to your website first. That will slowly help your fan base shift over. Did you have...
Actually, yeah. I've done a lot of social media over the years, especially marketing and advertising for things. And in order to build up a fan base, expanding from what you have without not including them, a good way of doing it is putting up a few sample chapters of your new thing you're working on your site, as well as kind of constant snippets and updates, and then go forward with the Amazon and the full thing. Because in my opinion, you don't, unless you have this really sensitive online fan base, you don't need to consistently, keep updating them on, each chapter and stuff. Sometimes stories are better, read and written in the whole thing. So I would definitely kind of look and use that as a transition point, because once they get done the sample chapters and then go to your website or get the full book, they'll start getting used to you doing full things, and they'll transition over the current Patreon people. Yeah.
In terms of finding an agent, though, if you wanted to actually publish a book, that is something that takes a very long time. You are going to have a solid idea of what you want to write in your novel, which I assume you have, if you're already thinking about that. You're going to have to write the entire thing, then you're going to have to edit it, then you're going to have to edit it again, and edit it again, and edit it again. And after about 5 edits, maybe it'll be okay to send to an agent. So you're going to want to look up online the different kinds of agents that are around your area, as well as agents that specialize in the genre that you're writing. Then you send it to the agents and you wait. Hopefully somebody bites. They'll probably ask you for more edits, so you'll do those. And then they'll send it to publishers. And then hopefully a publisher bites, and then they'll ask you for more edits, and then you'll do them again. And that's when that happens.
Right.
Yeah, my friend recently got a book published. It's digital, so it doesn't have a hard or I forget the other. It's a hard copy. So it was a long process. She finished the book. She sent it to somebody. They were interested at first, but after they asked her for edits, they said, we're not interested anymore. And it's been on the shelf for 2 years until she recently finally got somebody who was interested enough to publish the book. But for her to get interest, like from the public, she's doing it digitally, not, as a hard copy, because getting it a hard copy published, it's a little bit more expensive.
Right.
So if you're going to do that, I would suggest going digital first.
Okay. All right. Thank you much.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Colin. I'm an artist who's looking to expand, and I was going to ask if you guys see Patreon as like a legitimate starting off point in an expansion, or is Patreon more like, I already have this huge fan base and now it's time to turn this into my job, where all these fans basically fund me? I want to see if you...
I can say, because I run my own Patreon right now, and Patreon is a very hit or miss thing. First, because you have to be very careful with the rewards, especially if you're doing it as an artist, because there's a lot of people that get pissed off when you're an artist and you like keep your art behind a paywall like that. So you have to find ways to give people some incentives, like releasing some artwork a little early or something like that. But it's a lot of hit or miss things to really try it. Now, it's going to be very difficult if you want to make it something that's sustainable as a career. Like I make enough to, like, with my other part-time job and doing commissions on the side, my Patreon can help a little bit. Like, it pretty much pays for my groceries every month, but don't expect to be living off of it anytime soon. It's going to be like some spare change in your pocket a little bit.
Like a tip jar, basically.
It's pretty much, yeah.
That's something that I actually wanted to touch on too. Don't think that you have to go like for broke immediately if you're going to pursue an artistic career. If you need a second job on the side, do it, because you don't want to be starving. Even if, like, there's this whole starving artist thing, but within limits, like don't kill yourself.
Maybe one or 2 meals a day,
There you go. As long as they have some kind of protein and carb in them, you get.
Learn to budget yourself.
Yeah.
But that's how artists become famous. They die and then their print sells for $1 million.
There you go. That's the big answer.
I can't argue with that, I guess.
That's the big answer. If you want to do well as an artist, you have to die.
Yeah.
That's what you take away from this panel.
So
Please
just
don't.
go die. See you later.
That was over. All right. That's about as real as you can.
Wow, that was dark.
Step 1, die. Step 2, make $1 million.
Definitely fine to start off
profit.
with Patreon, getting some extra change. Look at other people's Patreons. I did a lot of research into like some of my favorite artists that have Patreons. Look at their goals, look at what they're giving and stuff to give yourself some ideas and kind of compare yourself to that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Rev, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of hot. I just thought you should know that.
Thank you.
Sorry, he's taken.
I thought we had something, guys. Come on.
No.
Tuned into their Saturday night shit fix.
Either way, what does IP stand for?
Intellectual property. Like, franchises, ideas. Like My Little Pony is an IP, Powerpuff Girls is an IP, Super Robot Monkey Tango Hyperforce Go was an IP.
Yeah.
Say that 5 times fast.
And essentially, the IP applies to everything contained within that brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toys, books, DVDs,
Yep.
art,
All that jazz.
everything.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Catherine. I'm actually running a vendor's booth downstairs.
Hi.
Nice.
What's the booth?
It's Magical Girl Mayhem.
Go see it.
There you go.
Magical
Was that
Girl
Magical
Mayhem.
Girl Mayhem?
Well, when she goes back.
What was
We
the
got a
booth
plug in
number?
here.
B23.
Vibrant.
23, Magical Girl Mayhem. I'm sorry.
That's Artist Alley, right?
Was that what you said?
B23, yes.
B23?
B23, all right.
Okay.
So my biggest question is, one of the problems being an online artist is marketing. How, you make yourself stand out from the other artists. And I'm just curious. I mean, this is my first BronyCon, so I know conventions are a way to get your name out there, but what other suggestions would you guys make for making yourself stand out?
Social media.
Yep.
Social media.
And go on everyone you can. Twitter, Tumblr, what was the other one?
Tumblr? Facebook?
What's the one you want?
Instagram?
Facebook, I guess. Go to MySpace.
MySpace anymore.
Nobody doesn't.
This
Who here
is
does
this is
MySpace?
2002, right? Okay, just
The
making
face
sure.
walls and the twit twats.
Nice try, Tom.
But
Marketing.
basically, go on
Tom is my biggest fan.
I know, right?
put your stuff on social media and make friends, because your friends will also share your art to their pages. This goes for everything else. Like, friends can also be really, really good advertisers. So
Friends help you
'Cause-
get money.
that's why you make friends, for them to be advertisers for you.
One of the biggest pitfalls with people not seeing your content is just they don't see it. They don't know it exists. It's not so much that you're bad or your stuff's bad. It's just no one knows it's there.
And is it just marketing or advertising?
So more so, like, once you hit that mark on social media, like, I don't know, you have like 1,000 followers or this and that, but you're just not getting, I don't know, like comments when you post, or people they see it, but they don't actually do anything with it. So what do you do to make them be interested in it?
Well, here's the thing there. You, for that, you see a Facebook essentially bottlenecking a lot of that stuff. A lot of people are having problems with that, especially with the YouTube turnover to YouTube Red and everything. The biggest way to capitalize on that, what all these social media sites do, they work off of keywords, and as much as I hate to say it, they're all about trends. Sometimes you have to go after trends in order to get that attention, and then it will be picked up by more and more media, unfortunately. Don't just only do trends, though. But yeah, you definitely do want to roll with the trends when you can.
Do you have a Twitter?
So I recently got one.
Okay, so use that for marketing. Do you post on DeviantArt? Okay. Do you send your art to groups? Okay, do that. What do you mostly draw?
So I actually draw everything, but I mean, last year I started getting into ponies, so usually like the anime and the pony community.
Okay, you find websites that like EQD. I'm pretty sure there's other websites that are just like EQD, and send them your art. Pretty much scream out and run around and say, look at my art, look at my art, look at my art.
Okay. Yes.
Help if you did that too.
I'm gonna scream at everyone.
Honestly, if you just ran around here with a huge sign that said "Look at my art," you'd probably get people who would.
You probably would.
Yeah.
You probably would.
That's what I did. The very first BronyCon I was here 2 years ago, I actually had my hat and I put a piece of paper on the back of it, like right on the back of my head, that said, "Give me an idea to draw and I will draw it." And I was just taking like any pony ideas to draw. It's you want to get your artwork out as many places as you can.
Live
Post it
streaming
everywhere.
too. You always want to do live streaming. Tag your live stream to whatever you're drawing. You'll get people, especially on Picardo. And usually, how you want to start is maybe do requests or something like sketches or whatnot.
And then when you finally have their attention, you want business cards.
Yes.
Because I went to her and I was like, I love your art so much. I want to show it to my animator. Do you have a business card?
No.
She did not have one.
Okay.
But I have
2
one
years
now. Yeah. 2 years ago, he came up to us and was like, hey, I want to work for you. Here's my business card.
Not even.
Not even?
No, the story was how I got involved with Silly Philly.
I don't even remember anymore.
It was after their panel, because I had a question for them. So I went up to them after their panel and I
there's one up, and I talked to Meredith and one of the other animators, and I said, hey, I just got my bachelor's of media arts animation, just got out of school. I'm trying to network with some people. Here's my card. I love your stuff. If you want to check it out sometime, go for it. And that was it. And then apparently they went on my website that night and checked out my demo reel. So yeah.
And here he is.
Post Crow's kidnapping, right?
Yeah. Because so I would do one side just real quick. This right here is one of your most powerful weapons in the industry. Have one. Have a website. Get everything set up nice and neat. This will be super important.
Website and business.
So I'm assuming since you're in the vendor hall, you have business cards. Good, you get A+.
Then you should be good to go
Thank
with that.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, for the sake of time, we're gonna try to limit the answers to 3 minutes each, so we can try and get everyone in the line.
Thank you, Magical Girl Mayhem, booth B23.
So, okay. Hi.
Hi. For voice acting, you were talking about you want to go to every audition you can.
Right.
Where do you find auditions, especially for quantity, and how do you look for them?
Castingcall.com is a big one. Voices123. Do you want to say?
Voices.com.
Voices.com.
Voice Acting Alliance. Voice Acting Club. I would
Or-
normally say Voice Bunny, but they are not very good, so I wouldn't use Voice
avoid
Bunny.
Voice
Stay away
Bunny.
from it.
You could try to land an agent and have someone find it for you, but that takes luck and work.
Well,
I don't know
it takes a demo reel and an
That-
acting
that's
resume,
it, yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Also, I have a demo reel.
I'm curious, like, how far into voice acting have you gotten?
It's just something I ask a lot of questions about. I really
Okay.
haven't explored
Gotta
much.
start somewhere, man.
But I did kind of look into it a little while ago, and I realized like I had no idea, because I wouldn't know where to look,
Right.
and that was
Right.
always like the thing.
Just try it out, dude.
Yep. Those websites are a good
If
start.
you want like some more info, we can give you that after the panel.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
Yep.
Hi, I'm cover art on Film Fiction. Look me up.
Good job.
Way to plug yourself. All right.